And do you need to pull up your presentation? It's up there? Okay. Okay, again, my name is Beth Beatty. I've been in the district nearly 30 years now. Spent a lot of my time at Keeler when I was in elementary and came over to Hilbert when the sixth graders moved over to Hilbert years ago. And one of the things with my own kids where I live is my kids were on high school robotics teams. And so just my involvement in that, I thought, and I know Dr. Shivers talks a lot about this, just because we're a different zip code here doesn't mean our kids don't deserve the same opportunity. So when I started being involved with that with my own kids, I thought we can do this. We can do this here in Redford. So, gosh, I don't know, 5 years ago, I started our first FLL team, which was our first Lego League team, and Ms. Shelton was the principal with us at that time. So since then, have continued to have robot teams. This is our second year having this team, which is the first Tech Challenge, and this is now the middle school program in the state of Michigan, and the first Lego League stuff has moved down into the elementary. So we're going to tell you a little bit about, we actually have 2 teams this year. We were able to build another team, and then the kids are going to get the robots up and going just so you can kind of see what they do. This first team is my veteran team. This is my varsity team, we call them. This was only their second year in FTC, and this team actually, we competed twice this year, and the second competition we got to, they actually made it into the semifinals, so that was a first for us. So, this is just, you see Jake there, he's got the number 4. We were the number 4 seeded alliance in the finals. So it was a first for us. We didn't really know what to do with it, but they did great. They performed really well. So that team was the 7th and 8th grade. This is the RU Bots. This is our 6th grade team. This is our rookie team this year. It was the first time. And so we've got a few of those team members here too. Both teams competed in Detroit, and we competed in Dearborn during the 2017 season. The game that our kids had to play, and essentially what happens is a game is released in August, that all the first teams, you learn, the game is revealed to you, and then you have until your first competition to build the robot to play the game. So we're going to show you just real quick what the game was that the kids had to do, and then we'll talk about, then you might understand their robot design.
Introducing the 2017-2018 First Tech Challenge. First Relic Recovery. A team consists of 2 driver operators, a coach, and a robot. The robot must be built from materials specified in the game manual and fit within an 18-inch sizing cube. But after the match starts, it can expand. Each match is played with 4 randomly selected teams, 2 per alliance. Your alliance partner for one match may be your opponent in another. The game is played on a 12-foot square playing field with a foam tile floor and 1-foot-high walls. 2 red and 2 blue balancing stones are mounted on the field floor. 4 relics are positioned in the field corners. 4 jewel sets are positioned on the field walls. 4 crypto boxes are also located on the walls. In front of each crypto box is a taped-off safe zone. A glyph pit is also taped off in the center of the field. 24 gray and 24 brown glyphs are randomly arranged in the glyph pit. These foam blocks are 6 inches square. Red and blue relic recovery zones extend beyond the field toward the audience. And finally, the 2 alliance stations are taped off on opposite sides of the field. Prior to the start of the match, teams must balance their robots on the balancing stones. They can be in any orientation. Teams also preload 1 glyph per robot, selecting either color. Then, field personnel randomize the locations of the jewels. They also randomly select one of 3 pictograph designs and install them on the field walls. 30-second autonomous period. During the autonomous period, there are a number of ways for teams to score, using only pre-programmed instructions. If only 1 joule is left on the platform at the end of the autonomous period, the alliance corresponding to that color earns 30 points. Each glyph scored in a crypto box earns the alliance 15 points. The pictographs have coded messages indicating which of the crypto box columns is a key. If a robot can decode this message and place a glyph in the crypto box key, their alliance earns a 30-point bonus. Each robot parked in a safe zone earns their alliance 10 points. Following the autonomous period is the 2-minute driver control period. There are a number of ways to score points. Each glyph scored in a crypto box earns the alliance 2 points. A completed row of glyphs earns an additional 10 points. And a completed column earns an additional 20 points. If an alliance can score 12 glyphs in one of the 6 cipher patterns, it will earn an additional 30 points. CryptoBox scores are cumulative and can add up quickly. The last 30 seconds of the driver-controlled period is the end game. If a team completes a CryptoBox cipher, they are allowed to place relics before the end game. During the endgame, teams may reach over the perimeter wall and place a relic in the recovery zone to earn 10, 20, or 40 points. An upright relic earns an additional 15 points. And finally, each robot balanced on a balancing stone earns their alliance 20 points. There are many ways to score points in relic recovery, but there are also rules that, if not followed, will award points to your opponents. For example, a robot may not control more than 2 glyphs at a time. And robots may not place non-glyph elements into a crypto box. This has been a brief summary of the first relic recovery game. For complete rules.
So, in September, we learned what that game was, and we probably looked at it a lot like you did. Like,
Oh my goodness.
We felt the same way. But the great thing about this, the kids started with a pile of parts and that. And so their job was to build a robot from that pile of parts that could play this game. They had to do all the programming, they had to do all the building. So I think, scared a few kids a little bit in the beginning, but, you know, and that was one of the neat things they learned is that, you know, you've got this gigantic task, but we're going to take it a chunk at a time. So there's just so many great learning opportunities through doing robotics with kids. Okay. The next thing I wanted to mention to you is in the summer I wrote a DonorsChoose.org asking for, this is my second or third year doing FTC, and you saw the field that it's played on, and we've never had that in Hilbert. Mr. Christopherson let us tape off in the library what we thought the field size was, and so what I did is I wrote a Donors Choose asking for money to pay for a field, and then I kind of forgot about it, and I think it was late September or so, I got this message that our Donors Choose was fully funded. And it was funded by one person, and this is what she wrote. In 2017, from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, she said that her son would have loved to participate in something like this. And so what a fantastic group. Best wishes to you and your team. She funded the whole thing, and it was almost $900. So with that, we were able to purchase the field, and you see it there. We set it up in the upstairs part of Hilbert's gymnasium. And so these kids actually got to build and test and change things on an actual playing field. So it was just an invaluable thing for us. And I'll be able to reuse that field every single year because the field doesn't change. The game elements will change inside of it, but not the actual size of the field. So, so that was really exciting to get that support from outside of our community. And then we've also really, I've always been a big proponent of kind of pushing, I'm always kind of pushing the robot stuff in. I know when Mr. McIntyre called this summer, hey, we want to do some commercial work over at Hilbert, and I'm like, hey, can I get the robot in? So our community outreach, we, and Mr. Christopherson did a lot of this. We put it in the Redford Memorial Parade. We actually had the robot on one of the floats there, and then our drone club recorded it and streamed it live on Facebook. So connecting those, a lot of these kids are in that club as well. So also, we've also worked with Redford Union High School, and some of those high school kids have come in and actually mentored our kids. Those are kids that we had on the team in years past, have come back to mentor our kids, and that's been a really valuable thing for our kids as well. The high school team is now beginning their season, and they're working on their robot at Redford Union. So, but it's a nice connection for these kids to see that it doesn't stop at 8th grade. It can continue into the high school. So this is a commercial that we were featured in. I've got a chance to see it, and we'll just play it real quick. It's just a 30-second commercial. This was shown in a lot of the cable communities in the surrounding communities of Redford. I think you just click on it and it should start launching it. Okay, so anyways, we did feature the robot in it. We had the drones in it as well. So again, it was just a really nice, and I actually had people email me during the summer, you know, I don't live in Redford, but do you have a robot team in your district? Because we want to bring our kids, you know, we want a school of choice them in. And so really it's an important thing because all the literacy and all the things we're doing are really important too, but this is really big. There's a population of kids out there, this is their place. And so one of the things I always tell my kids, and I know Andy's heard this all the time from me, because the football team, they're getting the money. Hey, every one of my kids can go pro. I don't think you can say that about every one of our high school athletes. So we need to start putting some emphasis on this stuff too. These are the kids that, that's why I tell these guys, hey, these other kids will be working for you someday. And also sponsoring us, Redford Union Schools, they've never said no to me. When I ask, and Mr. Christopherson, we need to buy this new Vex Pro thing for the robot, he'd do it. Same thing with Mr. McIntyre. He works and writes the MEGS grant for the state of Michigan. A lot of that money funnels right into robotics. I've written a lot of grants through FIRST in Michigan. FIRST is the sponsor of these robots, and it's a national sponsor as well. So this year they sponsored us with $750 to start the new team. Troy Edison also came through with $500, sponsors one of our robot teams as well. So all this money goes right back into the robots and the kids so that we can attend the competitions and add to our robot parts. So just some awards and recognitions. We've been in the Redford Connection this year. That was an article that was done, and a lot of these kids are here today. We've also been in the Redford Observer. We've won a few awards, and every year that we compete, we seem to be doing better and better. So we're getting more and more recognition. More and more kids are knocking on my door. Can I join the team? So that's really popular. Mr. Rosen is a team coach. Nice glasses there. And also Ms. Lemon, she's a science teacher over at Hilbert. She's also helped coaching us. We put a lot of time. It's a couple of days a week we're meeting after school, and then our competitions are all day Saturdays. So it's a lot of time spent with these kids, but I think all of us really see the impact. And so these are just some photos from some of our competitions and some of the kids that couldn't be with us today, but certainly attended the competitions with us. So we're going to end with, they're just going to drive robots around a little bit, and then feel free to, when we're finished, you can come up and just maybe you want to control the robots a little bit. I think they'll let you do that, and then see some of the things that they brought today. Okay, so thank you again for inviting us. We haven't had them out in a while, so hopefully everybody's going to remember what to do.